Good morning, everyone. This is Henry from A-STEM Tutoring, once again attempting to serve as your wise old sensei. Today we will be discussing math. Some of you may be looking forward to taking the SAT soon. And in fact, this past week I was helping a student study for the SAT. So today's math problem will be something similar to what you might see on that exam. Let's hand it over to the whiteboard. So you can see this problem here, x squared over the root of x squared minus c squared equals c squared over that same root plus 13. So how to solve this problem? We can subtract this quantity from both sides. So we're subtracting the root c squared over the root of x squared minus c squared from both sides. These two items on the left will cancel out. Those two items on the right will cancel out. On the left, we have x squared minus c squared, both over that same denominator, the root of x squared minus c squared equals 13. Notice that on the left side, the numerator and the denominator are both the same. So, except for the fact that the denominator is the root of that quantity. So any quantity divided by its own root will simply be that root. So the left side evaluates to be root x squared minus c squared equals 13. We can square both sides to get rid of that inconvenient root symbol. We would have now x squared minus c squared equals 13 squared. Adding both c squared to both sides, x squared equals c squared plus 13 squared. Now we'll square root so that we can solve for x. Square root of the left, square root of the right. But on the right side, we have to consider the plus or minus root, because consider that 2 squared equals 4, but negative 2 times itself also equals 4. So when taking the square root of both sides to solve for a variable, we have to consider both the plus and minus root. This gives us x equals plus or minus root c squared plus 13 squared. Oops, hold on a second. Plus 13 squared. And since 13 squared equals 169, we can also say x equals plus or minus root c squared plus 169. This concludes the solution of today's math problem. You might see this as one of the harder available problems on the SAT. This was something that my student was working on earlier this week. If you'd like to learn more about the possibility of private tutoring with me, I am available for hire as a private tutor. I can tutor math and science. You can see my contact information listed up there at the top. And as a thank you for watching all the way to the end of today's video lesson, when you contact me, please mention the code FREEBOOK, and I will give you, at our first meeting, I will give you a free copy of my book, Smart Suggestions for Student Success. I wrote this book in an effort to pass along advice and wisdom to the younger generation, especially high school and college students, about how to succeed in school, in work, and in life. I hope you found today's lesson useful and maybe a little fun, I hope. And thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.